Today, I want to talk about one of the best animated series from the 1980s, and this could not be more 1980s if it tried. The ThunderCats. ThunderCats was a sci-fi space adventure fantasy mixed with magic, and it was very rich in story. Sound familiar? This show aired in 1985 and it ran for 4 seasons, which included an impressive 130 episodes. ThunderCats was produced by Rankin Bass, which was responsible for most of our favourite Christmas specials like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Frosty the Snowman. This series followed a race of alien cat-like humanoid characters that were designed by a guy named Tobin Wolfe, who believed that his creations would be perfect for a kid's cartoon, and eventually it became ThunderCats, and those characters included Tigra, Cheetara, Panthro, Wily Kit, Wily Cat, Snarf, and let's not forget the most important character of all, Lion-O. In a distant galaxy, Thundera falls into chaos and explodes. A band of feline warriors escape their world's destruction under the guidance of Jaga, Keeper of the Sword of Omens. To ensure their survival, he pilots their ship towards a new home, knowing the journey will cost him his life. Safely asleep inside their cryo chambers, the ThunderCats are preserved, but one of the pods malfunctions, Lion-O's pod, and he ages normally, maturing into a leader whilst his companions remain young. They crash on a strange world, Third Earth, and here an ancient evil awaits, Mumra, a twisted sorcerer lusting after the Sword of Omens and the power of the Eye of Thundera. Lion-O must rise. He'll lead the ThunderCats through peril and discovery, forging alliances, battling mutants, monsters, and memories. The ThunderCats, bound by their code, truth, justice, loyalty, and courage, fight not just to survive, but to shape the future. This show was absolutely epic, and it has one of the most awesome intros to a cartoon ever made. The animation is top notch, and the theme tune is so catchy and so iconic, and it's just exhilarating to watch. And as for the actual show's animation, it is admittedly dated, but it is still pretty sweet. And as for the first episode, it is actually quite exhilarating, a really cool plot that's exciting and tragic at the same time, as we see the death of a planet and a race, and the sacrifice of Jaga, who pilots a ship transporting the ThunderCats to safety, killing himself. This is all quite heavy stuff for a Saturday morning cartoon. And there was a lot of negative attention for Saturday morning cartoons back in those days. Censorship had decided that cartoons should be more educational, or carry a message. So at the end of each episode, the characters would reflect on the story that was just told with a moral lesson to go along with it.
I'm Lion-O, Lord of the ThunderCats, reminding you that kids are not allowed to drink anything with alcohol in it. Obey the code. Don't drink alcohol.
This cartoon also had a massively successful toy line. I had a few myself, like the Lion-O figure with light up eyes. I also had Mumra's Tomb Fortress. This was a very cool toy. You see, you placed the robed version of Mumra inside the door of the castle, you span it around, and out popped the more muscular scurry version, but I never had the scurry version, so my Mumra turned into a Ninja Turtle. I also had the holy grail of all the ThunderCats toys, the Sword of Omens. Man, I was so happy to get this sword, it was so cool. You place a single battery in the handle, and the Eye of Thundera lit up, the ThunderCats logo, and now I could have sight beyond sight. It was so cool. That is until one day I took it to school with me, and a boy named John Rigby took it off me and swung it against a chair and smashed it to pieces. I still miss that sword to this very day, and I can still feel the pain I felt when that sword smashed into a million pieces. Curse you, John Rigby. The ThunderCats cartoon made the Sword of Omens an iconic sword, and I believe it is just as iconic as He-Man's sword, and it's instantly recognisable. When the sword was not in use, it was a small compact dagger, and it sat in Lion-O's claw shield. I love the way that Lion-O would shout, "Thunder! ThunderCats! Ho!" And the sword grew. It was such an exciting part of the episode, and I would sit there and just wait for it to happen every single time. And then we had the Thunder Tank, Panthro's pride and joy, a massive transforming beast of a vehicle that the ThunderCats would ride around in. And it was very ideal to create a very 80s toy out of this that you could park next to your massive electronic cat layer. Man, I want to be a kid again. In 2011, a brand new ThunderCats animated series was aired on TV. This one was very different from the original and way darker and totally awesome. I loved the series, but it was incredibly short-lived. It only lasted for one season and it left the series feeling very incomplete. In 2020, a new series premiered called ThunderCats Raw, which was, in my opinion, not that great. This show was more like Teen Titans Go, with each episode running at around 10 minutes, and they were very, very, very silly. And the fans hated this. And I think the show kind of works, and it can be amusing. The only problem is, it's ThunderCats. And ThunderCats does not work in this format. And that show lasted only one season before it was eventually cancelled. ThunderCats was an awesome 80s cartoon. ThunderCats was mythic, emotional, and sometimes weirdly spiritual. It fused science fiction with swordplay, ancient ruins with alien tech, a cocktail of contradictions that somehow worked. If you like ThunderCats, please be sure to drop your favourite episode in the comments section and I'll be sure to read it. Until next time guys, see you soon.